will advertise 3% extra on everything.
Tonight at noon, children from happy families will be sent to live in a home. Elephants will tell each other human jokes. America will declare peace on Russia.
World War I generals will sell poppies on the streets on November the 11th.
The first daffodils of autumn will appear when the leaves fall upwards to the trees. Tonight at noon, pigeons will hunt cats through city backyards. Hero will tell us to fight on the beach and on the landing fields.
A tunnel full of water will be built under Liverpool.
Pigs will be sighted flying in formation over Walton.
And Nelson will not only get his eye back,
but his arm as well. White Americans will demonstrate for equal rights
in front of the Black House.
And the monster has just created Dr. Frankenstein.
Girls in bikinis are moonbathing.
Folk songs are being sung by real folk.
Art galleries are closed to people at 21.
Poets get their poems in the top 20.
There's jobs for everybody.
And nobody wants them. In back alleys everywhere.
Teenage lovers are kissing in broad daylight.
In forgotten graveyards everywhere.
The dead will quietly bury the living.
And
You will tell me you love me.
tonight at noon.
When I consider how my light is spent ere half my days in this dark world and wide, and that one talent which is death to hide, lodged with me useless, though my soul more bent to serve therewith my Maker, and present my true account, lest he returning child, doth God exact day labour, light denied? I fondly ask, but patience? To prevent that murmur soon replies, God doth not need either man's work or his own gifts. His state is kingly. Thousands at his bidding speed and post o'er land and ocean without rest. They also serve who only stand and wait.
Pile the bodies high at Austerlitz and Waterloo.
Shovel them under and let me work.
I am the grass.
I cover all. And pile them high at Gettysburg.
And pile them high at Ypres and Verdun. Shovel them under.
And let me work. 2 years?
10 years.
And passengers ask the conductor,
What place is this?
where are we now?
I am the grass. Let me work.
To return to our present trip.
Nothing exciting happened.
And we tugged steadily on to a little below Monkey Island.
Where we drew up.
And lunched.
We tackled the cold beef for lunch.
And then we found that we had forgotten to bring any mustard.
I don't think I ever in my life, before or since, felt I wanted mustard as badly as I wanted it then.
I don't care for mustard as a rule, and it is very seldom that I take it at all, but I would have given worlds for it then.
I don't know how many worlds there might be in the universe, but anyone who had brought me a spoonful of mustard at that precise moment could have had them all. I grow reckless like that when I want a thing and I can't get it.
Cast a gloom over the boat.
There being no mustard.
We ate our beef in silence.
Existence seemed hollow and uninteresting.
We thought of the happy days of childhood and sighed. We brightened up a bit, however, over the apple tart.
When George drew out a tin of pineapple from the bottom of the hamper,
and rolled it into the middle of the boat,
we felt that life was worth living after all.
We are very fond of pineapple. All three of us.
We looked at the picture on the tin.
We thought of the juice.
We smiled at one another.
And Harris got a spoon ready.
Then we looked for the knife to open the tin with. We turned out everything in the hamper.
We turned out the bags. We pulled up the boards at the bottom of the boat.
Took everything out onto the bank and shook it. There was no tin opener to be found.
Then Harris tried to open the tin with a pocket knife and broke the knife and cut himself badly.
And George tried a pair of scissors, and the scissors flew up and nearly put his eye out.
While they were dressing their wounds, I tried to make a hole in the thing with the spiky end of the hitcher, and the hitcher slipped and jerked me out between the boat and the bank into 2 muddy feet of water.
And the tin rolled over,
Uninjured.
and broke a teacup.
Then we all got
mad!
We took that tin out onto the bank.
And Harris went up into a field and got a big, sharp stone.
And I went back to the boat and brought out the mast.
And George held the tin.
And Harris held the sharp end of his stone against the top of it.
And I took the mast, and I poised it high up in the air, and gathered up all my strength, and brought it down. It was George's straw hat that saved his life that day.
He keeps that hat now.
What is left of it.
And of a winter's evening, when the pipes are lit and the boys are telling stretchers about the dangers they have passed through, George brings it down and shows it round, and the stirring tale is told anew, with fresh exaggerations every time.
Harris got off merely with a flesh wound.
After that, I took the tin off myself and hammered at it with the mast until I was worn out and sick at heart.
Whereupon Harris took it in hand.
We beat it out flat.
We beat it back square.
We battered it into every form known to geometry.
But we could not make a hole in it. Then George went at it and knocked it into a shape so strange.
So weird.
So unearthly in its wild hideousness
that he got frightened and threw away the mast. Then we all three sat round on the grass
and looked at it.
There was one great dent across the top that had the appearance of a mocking grin, and it drove us furious.
So that Harris rushed at the thing and caught it up and flung it far into the middle of the river.
And as it sank, we hurled our curses at it.
And we got into the boat and rowed away from the spot and never paused till we reached Maidenhead.
The battle.
Not Alamein.
Or Waterloo.
The battlefield's my throat.
The enemy a savage horde that swarms across the moat and storms the citadel.
While the defence is sleeping well.
The white cells then, my bodyguard, join battle with the germs. Kill millions, but in turn are killed.
The rest are offered terms.
Then, backed by millions more, fight on.
The field, meanwhile, is sore.
At last, with penicillin's aid.
My throat's at peace again.
Earth, you were sore at Waterloo. Hastings.
And Alamein, and still have little ease.
Invent your penicillin, please.
The dunce.
He says no with his head.
But he says yes with his heart. He says yes to what he loves.
But he says no to the teacher.
He stands.
He is questioned, and all the problems are posed.
Sudden laughter seizes him. And he erases all the words and figures,
Names and dates.
sentences and snares,
And despite the teacher's threats,
to the jeers of infant prodigies, with chalk of every colour,
on the blackboard of misfortune,
he draws the face
of
happiness.
happiness.